Welcome back to the program. As promised, we welcome DCP Operations under the umbrella of the TTPS, Officer Junior Benjamin. Officer Benjamin, I want to thank you for coming on this morning bright and early to give us all necessary updates. Good morning and welcome.
Pleasant morning to you, Jason, and to all that listening. Pleasant good morning as well.
Indeed, pleasant morning to you. Officer Benjamin, what's the status of your colleague, your comrade, who was shot a couple hours ago, obviously not last evening, but the night before in Port of Spain? That's Officer Charles, PC Charles.
Charles, yes. Well, again, we continue to pray for his recovery. He's still in the land of the living, and for that we are really grateful. I had the opportunity, even at the time when it took place, I was down there, and I even had the opportunity to pray with him. So we were able to speak, and he was in a lot of pain. At present, I think he's in the ICU, and again, we continue to pray that all remains well as he recovers. It's going to take some time, but he's in the land of the living, and for that we're grateful.
So he's conscious, he's cognitive, he's able to speak, he's functioning at least?
Well, at least my last understanding is that yes, he is conscious. While he continues to seek to give him the medical attention that is needed at this time.
I was hearing yesterday there were calls for blood. Is that could that be confirmed?
That is also true. So again, we are there, and as much persons that could assist in that area, I'm certain that family will be grateful.
Could you probably walk us through the consequence, at least what led up to the shooting? Because from the news cycle, when we just look at what's happening and the investigation and what we would have heard, there would have been some kind of gang warfare scenario happening in Port of Spain. It's not something new to the city. And was it that he was caught in the crossfire? Was it an intentional shot at the officers, your officers? Could you give us some more details?
Well, again, I want to even be very careful in terms of that, because the details, as far as I'm concerned, pretty sketchy at this time, even as we seek to really understand all that took place. Nevertheless, I know that the officers were responding to gunshots that were fired, and as they were seeking to go into the direction, a vehicle came around and they were fired upon, and eventually the officer stated that he was shot, and his colleagues immediately sought to carry him to seek medical attention.
Understood. Officer Benjamin, are the bulletproof vests issued to the TTPS at this point in time fit for purpose?
Yeah, but the thing is, this is one area that we continue to keep the care and concern of our officers. It is important to note that because of the OPR and the regulation itself, it was only endorsed last year, and there was a lot of teething problems with it at that time. So there was no bulletproof vest bought last year. However, this year I can assure you that we have already put things in place to procure a large number of bulletproof vests that we believe is fit for purpose, and we are working on that even as we speak. But certainly, we procured, I think, the year before some bulletproof vests, and it was, again, because of the large number of persons, not much persons were able to get the bulletproof vest, only those that it was assigned for. So it is something that is an ongoing situation. Nevertheless, due to the OPR coming into existence, it slowed down the process last year, but this year, certainly under the astute leadership of our commissioner, we had to deal with that situation, and I can assure you that even as we speak, the process is gaining the attention of the executive at this time.
Thanks for the information. I'm going to frame my next question with an observation, DCP Benjamin. Now, as a fellow Trinbagonian, I've seen firsthand, it's been my observation, and it's a bit ironic, that when gunmen open fire and shoot at people and there is death, there is injury, nobody seems to see, nobody see, nobody hear. When the shooting involves officers of the TTPS, well, people all of a sudden they see and they come forward willingly to give information. Of course, the claims of wrongful shooting will always be part of the chorus line. Now, if someone sees something that's a wrongdoing, if it's clearly going beyond the boundary and breaking rules, well, that needs to be dealt with accordingly. But I'm going based on what I saw via the news last evening with a resident from Sealot named Blinchman, who claims that the shooting that took place yesterday was unlawful, unjust. What's the latest in terms of that scenario? And if indeed an investigation will be launched, how soon, from your experience, could we get some kind of conclusion on yesterday's shooting?
Yes, let me just say that in terms of the yesterday's shooting, that matter is presently under investigation. One of the things that we are going to ensure within the TTPS is that we would ensure that level of transparency, integrity, and accountability both of our officers. We are saying that our officers are out there. We are working hard to ensure safety and security. And anything or anyone that seeks to threaten the lives of an officer, there is a zero tolerance that we are going to be stepping up and ensuring that persons operate in accordance with the use of force policy. And that use of force policy is there to guide the police officer. And based on those things, they would be that would be the threshold under which, again, the investigation would be premised. And based on the investigation, the outcome will determine what course of action we would take on this matter.
Officer Benjamin, is the zero tolerance operation when you go into the community to try to at least solve or get information based on, let's say, this police-involved shooting, is it intelligence-driven? How do you all determine what areas you go and where to really amp up and step up this particular zero tolerance operation?
Well, I will tell you on a whole, when the police service, when we operate in terms of having a strategy, we don't just operate ad hocly. We always seek to have what is called intelligence-led, evidence-based, technology-driven solutions. And at the same time, what we seek to do is, as we make these tactical decisions, we would then seek to measure them, we will seek to monitor them, and then make the necessary assessment as to exactly what we should change, etc. As it relates to the crime situation, we allow the stats to speak to us, and therefore the hot spots, hot areas, hot products are given to us based on our capacity statistics. And also, when we seek to engage persons as well, we also look at the power few and allowing the data to speak to us as to who are these people and their associates. And it is based on those things that, again, we make that intelligent decision. That is, again, it is intelligence-driven, and that level of intelligence will guide our operations, even within the police service.
Understood. I want to ask you, Officer, as it relates to the TTPS and the community, I know sometimes it's a seesaw relationship. There would have been major activations over the years. I was part of the police youth group in St. James back in the day under the stewardship of Officer Shabadi. So I know the community policing is part of the operation, part of the plan. But then, of course, you have yesterday where officers go in sharp, brisk, precise, hard line to extract information or to effect an arrest. What's your message this morning to the Sealot's community, as it were, who might be up in arms with yesterday's development? Your direct message to them this morning.
Yeah, and again, we need to understand that the police is not here as your enemy. The police, we are here to ensure law and order. We want to ensure that the law-abiding citizen is at a place of safety and security as he or she travels. It doesn't matter where in Trinidad. Our goal and our vision as the police service is to make every place safe. And therefore, every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago is important to us. We are asking persons to work with the police. Don't fight against the police. We are saying if you have information, let's work together and let us see how we can rid this country of those persons who want to perpetrate crime. We are saying anyone that seeks to turn the gun on the police, we are taking a no-nonsense approach, and we are saying you will feel the full brunt of the TTPS. Other than that, we are saying those who are working with us, we are prepared to work with you. We are telling persons, take back your community. And as you take back your community, we are here to work with you to ensure that your community become a fruitful and productive community as we work together. And as we see the police seeking your interest, we know that you will also seek the interest of the police as well.
DCP Benjamin, I saw the press conference earlier this week, yourself and the Minister of National Security talking about some of the gains from last week's roadblock exercise. I believe about 15 AR-15s, if the number serves me well, and a couple other guns and ammunition taken off the road. I want to say congratulations in that regard. But based on, I guess, the backlash, people saying they were inconvenienced, do you still believe that these roadblocks are effective? Especially in a time of technology where literally somebody could send a message or go in a WhatsApp group and say, hey, officers by Grand Bazaar right now, and somebody who is criminal mind, criminal intent, could probably just take a different direction. What's your take on the effectiveness of roadblocks in this time?
Again, we have to understand the intent, and we have to understand what the police is doing. What we are doing, again, is twofold. If only we look at this in terms of firearms and ammunition, I am saying we become very myopic. We are saying that when we look at even the statistics in terms of RTAs and the fatal death, we've seen that, we were 52, we are now at 59. There's an increase, and therefore there is a need for the police to be out there to ensure that at the end of the day, we have that level of safety and security on the roadways. We have quite a number of offenses that are taking place on the roadways. Nevertheless, we are saying, in addition to that, we are also recognizing that the firearms and ammunition are not walking. It is traveling on persons and also in cars. And certainly when we look at that strategy that we had, when we compare it to the week, we recognize that there was, in terms of firearms, a 46% that was determined when we had that island-wide 24 hours surveillance and exercises that we had planned. We recognize in terms of ammunition, 64% of the ammunition found within that week was from that 24 hours. So clearly to us, when we work together, we recognize that we are seeing the benefits. And I'm saying that, the stats speaks for itself. We will continue to work together. I am talking about all of the police service, all of the TPPS, Trinidad and Tobago, to ensure safety and security. It is clear that it is given results, and even there are those who might want to say otherwise. We are saying it is not just about detection, it is also about deterrence. So if by doing that, by sending that signal, we see that criminals want to try another route, that is good, because it is about also detection and deterrence, and we will continue to bring the fight to the criminals, because we must make Trinidad and Tobago a much better place, even as it relates to crime and criminality.
And in that regard, my final question to you, DCP Benjamin, is, I know you would have served the organization for years with distinction, and obviously with strategy, with boots on the ground, with this increased visibility that you speak of. I know plans are afoot to really turn it around. Do you believe, really, in the bottom of your heart, that you, your team, the top brass, boots on the ground, at this point in time, with the strategy that's in place, can make a dent on crime and make us feel a bit safe on the island that we call home, Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes. Let me just say with all confidence, the situation is nothing strange to the police. And I want us to get this clear. This is not where crime is running all over the place. We need to understand certainly the crime is at a place where it is higher than it was. And I'm not even, let me correct that. The murders. When we look at the statistic clearly shows that there is a minus 17% in terms of serious crime. Last year, around this time, we had 7,538 serious crime. We now have 6,270, a minus of 1,268 So this is not a crime is getting away with us. It is important that we do not put out there that this situation is one where crime is getting away. Yes, the murders, which is where the public would want to view and want to judge the police. But let's look at the work. When you look at the work, we are minus 17%. It means that the commissioner and her team, we are doing a tremendous job in keeping law and order in this land. We will continue to bring the fight to the criminals as it relates to the murders. But I think it is unfair when you want to judge the police that we look at one particular thing to judge the police. Nevertheless, if that's the way society looks at it, not a problem. We are not it is. This situation calls for not just a movement in our thinking, but a paradigm shift. And the police service has made that paradigm shift. And we are going out there to ensure law and order. And we are saying it will happen. We are confident because we've seen it in the past. Last year, again, similar thing. Midway through the year, persons were saying, we're going to reach 600 or something. And so we were able to pull it back. So again, there is absolutely no need to panic.
All right.
Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we are on the job. We are not sleeping. Yesterday, we got 2 firearms. One of them a mini Uzi and a revolver. I am saying we are on the job. We are working.
All right.
And I want to commend the hard-working officers for the great job that they're doing. And I want to say we will continue to press and we will continue to bring the fight to the criminals, and the police service will remain the bastion of law and order in Trinidad and Tobago.
Officer Benjamin, thank you so much, DCP Junior Benjamin, DCP Operations under the umbrella of the TTPS. Thanks for the time and for the update. You be safe, and I'm sure we'll touch base at some point soon.
Thank you so much, Jason. Have a wonderful day.
Same to you. Officer Benjamin there. Up next, we get ready for our Caribbean Connection. We speak to the Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency concerning the response, that national response to disaster and the impact of Hurricane Beryl. See you soon.